science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
For newcomers and old-timers alike, the Chloe Sanctuary hopes to give you insight into the health and happiness of your companion parrots. We hope to help you build happy homes using reliable and proven tools. The best homes are built on a rock-solid foundation. And the best foundation for a happy home is the bedrock of science. When we stand on the shoulders of giants, the scientists who have worked long and diligently to understand our companions, we can reach new heights of understanding. And understanding is the key to success. What does avian veterinary medicine have to tell us about our feathered friends? How can we prevent illness, see the signs of disease before it's too late, and care for our birds through ill health? What light does behavioral science shed on their nature, needs, and hopes? How can the tools of behavior shaping make our homes happier for us and our companions? How can we deal with biting, screaming, or other misbehavior? What is it like to live among parrots? Let them roam around about you and share a life with them. How much freedom do you give them? What happens if you form a bond of trust with them? Watch and see what understanding their true nature can do for you. Come with us on a journey as we do more than examine a parrot's world. We live in it. Make some popcorn and bring in a few wood blocks. Let everyone have something to chew and a comfortable place to perch. Cockatude is a presentation of the Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a nonprofit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.
Hi, and welcome to Ep.58, Cockatoos with Attitude. Why does my parrot? Yeah, why does my parrot? That's a good question, isn't it? I've often asked the question, why does my parrot do this, or why does my parrot do that? Well, the idea for this episode stemmed from a question I had, where someone on YouTube was asking, why is it that some parrots chew a bunch of wood, and are always chewing things, and other parrots don't? And the way they asked the question, it made it sound, and I've heard it this way before, it made it sound like, why do some parrots misbehave? Why are they chewing up everything? And the way I responded to it was, well, some parrots are normal, and then the other parrots are not. The ones that are not don't chew wood. In the wild, that's what they do. They chew wood. It helps to grind their beak down. It's one of the things they use to grind their beak down, isn't it, baby? Yeah. And these beaks are really powerful. They have to get against something and work hard to get them toned down. So in the wild, they chew up things, and one of the things too they chew is they'll chew things up to make their nesting area. So they do it for that reason too. They chew because that's a natural behavior when it comes to nesting. And but that sparked this whole episode. Why does my parrot? Yeah. Let's introduce everybody in the room. We have Babaloo. He's a Triton. And we have... That was very nice, sweetheart. Thank you for flying over and saying hello. This is Lorelei. And this is... Who are you anyway? Is this Pippa? I call her Pippa Longstockings. Pippa you guys are not going to mate over there. So you be careful, Snowball. The one I'm talking to is Snowball. No. You guys know. No mating. No mating behavior. Get out, Lorelei. Please get away from there. Get out of there. Good girl. Of course, you're going towards another male. That's how she went up to see Cecil up there. No preening. No. Oh, Lorelei, no. 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 You're not listening. No. No. Come here. Lorelei, come here. Oh, Lorelei's not listening. Come on. Bob, get off the floor. Oh, we're going to do that again. Bob, no. Come here. Come here. No. Oh, this is going to be fun. You need to get back over here. All right, you little minx. And we have Lucy up there on the back of the couch. Hi, Lucy. Hello, Lucy. Oh, you got some splaining to do, Lucy. And dangling on the rope, which I don't know if we can see that. I hope I have a camera in that angle. No, I don't think I do. But Salamander's dangling on a rope between these two perches. And he's chewing it and swinging upside down. Makes me wish I had 4 cameras. I certainly could use 4 cameras, but don't have another cam for that angle. Oh, well. And Sugar. We're doing a little something different with lighting now. There's a couple of LED lights in here to try to balance things out. I used different lights above and another couple of lights in the room. So right now, lighting in this room consists of 6 bulbs. But I noticed that when you're looking at the birds, like Sugar sitting on the top of the perch, there was way too much glare on the top of her, and it was hard to see her. So let's hope this works out better. I'm not sure I'll have lighting. I'm not sure I'll have lighting right this time, but we'll get it right eventually. You guys stop. Cecil, no. Lorelei, get down from there. Come here. Come here. Lorelei, come. No. Come here. Sorry, Bob. I just didn't mean to touch your tail. Peaches, you didn't get introduced yet, Peaches. Lorelei, you're going to stop this now, please. Or you're going to have to get tickled. Get off the floor. You're not going to do that again. You're not going to start this. I'm going to do the baby bird thing with you. Baby bird, babaloo. Baby bird, babaloo. The baby bird. Baby bird. Baby bird. Baby bird. Baby bird. You stop getting on the floor. We're not doing that again. We're not. You haven't done that since the last shoot. Why don't you talk to her? She doesn't trust you yet, but yes, and you're good with her, I know.
Peaches is an amazing personality. Her daily maintenance requires dedication and mindfulness. She requires 2 forms of medicine, 7-course meals, and effort to entice her to eat. Extensive preening every day, special tools to trim nails, constant attention to her vocalizations, daily walks, and twice yearly checkups due to the possibility of impacted feather follicles and the nature of her spinal injuries. It seems a common misconception among the general public that parrots are like toys in a toy box. Nothing could be further from the truth. They are complex creatures. Recently, scientific studies have shown them to be at least as intelligent as chimpanzees. Every captive parrot needs special humans who will dedicate themselves to understanding them, those who know their species as it lives in the wild, special people that understand their social, mental, and physical needs. They need to be understood for what they are, and not as merely human companions, as circus performers to bring smiles. Peaches needs all this and more. She is our special girl. Will you help us care for Peaches? Please make a donation today at our website, chloesanctuary.org. That's spelled CHLOESANCTUARY.org. As a special thank you for your donation, we will joyfully send you a postcard with Peach's happy face.
So, I often get the question, why does my bird seem to just bite out of the blue? Well, they don't. They never bite out of the blue. There's always a reason why they do anything. And that's true of all behavior, of all animals. And in my own experience, what I've seen is that the majority of bites that people get are due to mate territoriality. So if you've been petting your bird, like you see me petting Bob down the back, which you shouldn't do, I do it. We're already mated. He considers me his mate. And it was the only way I could save this little guy. I try everything I can do not to mate to these birds. Yeah, you're working your way back into a spot I don't want you in, aren't you? Aren't you? Yes, you are. So what happens when they, in their world, if you, are you sure? You're not kidding me, are you? You really are the salamander bird? Yeah, that's a mating behavior. That banging that perch, that's a way of him saying he wants to mate. So if he gets over here, he's going to try to mate with me. Hello, but I'm not going to mate with you. It's the wrong species. No. Besides, this is not a bordello. So if you let a bird like that mate with you, and this happened with him before he came here, what happens is he will try to defend you as you would normally defend a bird in the wild. So if you start to show affection towards another bird or another human, you may get bitten as a warning. And they're actually warning you that you're in danger. It's not so much that they're saying, bad person for showing this attention to another bird. It's more like, hey, this is not a good situation. You need to get out of it. So he was a little cruise missile. We have a video on that. 9 times out of 10, they're going to bite for that reason. Or let's say that you bring something into the room that frightens them and you're close to them. They may bite you because they see that object as a danger and they're trying to get your attention. We're so dull-headed. I mean, we just don't see like they do. They see something because of their eyes, because of the kind of way they look at the world. Hi. They see something long before we do. It's as if they've got, telescopic sight, which they do, but I mean, it's as if they're looking through a telescope and we can't even see what's there. I don't know if you've ever been outside with a bird and you see them look up. If they're looking up, they get that look and they're looking up. There's a hawk up there. Sometimes they'll mistake something else, but I mean, I shouldn't say mistake. They'll see something they don't recognize and it will spook them a bit, like an airplane or something. But that's just because it's an unrecognized flying object. Could be something that's a threat. Are you going to do that to my arm again? Oh no, don't start that. So, because they see things faster than we do and they react faster, you could bring something into the room or just have a different color shirt that they don't like on. And bam, next thing you know, you've got a bite. And you're going, what in the world happened? It just came out of the blue. No, it didn't. And if you were to video on a regular basis, and it happened again, and it happened again, and then you looked at the 3 different videos, you would see a common factor, almost guaranteed. Now, because we're human, I suggest you watch those videos at the end of our show notes. There's a couple of videos suggested, a couple of minutes each. I mean, it's not like you have to spend a day on it. So I know it's a fast food world. Everybody wants their instant gratification, but watching those 2 videos will make you realize that you're missing about 99% of what's really going on. But anyway, they'll see it, you won't, and they'll react. So there a small number of birds are just so frightened that they can't fly away because people have trimmed their wings. They don't have any way of getting out of a situation. They've given you every sign in the world. They've done everything but hold up like you remember those old Wile E. Coyote deals where they held up a sign, the Roadrunner held up a sign. Well, it's kind of like that. They're holding up a sign going, back off, big letters, and you're not doing it. And it's just because you don't know their language and your eyes aren't trained to it. So I knew with Lorelei, she was not going to listen to me. She wanted to mate she was going to pick a male and she was going to go for it. And that's just all there was to it. So I took her out of the room. I love having her in here. She flies around a lot and she's a pleasure to be around, but if she's in a mating mood, oh no, I'm not going to go there. The whole time would be spent trying to get them away. You guys be nice to each other now. These two are starting to tolerate each other. Hey, be nice to him. He's being nice to you. You don't want to get him going. You don't. So it can be a fear response. It's a learned kind of thing, though, because they don't normally bite. They fly away. That's the way they work. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be mate territoriality. You got your bird just a little too close. The kind of close that's actually illegal, but they because you're not supposed to do that with animals. But they'll never prosecute you because they don't know anything about birds. The government is almost as blind as everyone else. So, hello, Peach. Now, this is one I wanted to bring up because I don't know if I brought it up before, but why does my parrot bleed if I put things on their skin? Now, they have thin skin. They only have 3 layers. We have 7. And in some places, they're only 7 cells deep. So if you put lotion of some kind on there, it can actually go right into their body through their skin in some areas, and then their body reacts to it because it's not natural to their, because it, and then their skin tends to react, and then what happens is the skin just opens up and bleeds. So it's a good time to reiterate, if I haven't said it before, that you don't want to put anything on your bird's skin. Nor do you want to spray them with a bunch of concoctions from the pet store that say they're feather bright and all that stuff. No, you don't want to do that. Water's all you need to spray on them. Water's all there is in the wild. And that's all you need to do. Hello, Peach. Well, you want to come over and see me, Peach? No. Takes a step back. Okay. You don't. See, I don't know if the camera picked that up, but that one foot going back means I want to play with your foot. Means I want to play with your hand. I said foot. Means I want to play with your hand, but I don't want to step up. Yeah, doesn't it, Peach? Just want attention, baby. Why does my parrot flare its tail? Or bang like he was doing. Bang with its beak on something, including you. Or why does my parrot vibrate? Sit there and vibrate and cluck. Those are all mating behaviors. And this one is not a mating behavior. I'm not sure what she's doing. She's nosediving. What are you doing? And you don't even have a nose. How can you nosedive? We hope you will consider supporting us on Patreon today. We produce up to 2 videos a month. As a patron, you pledge to give us a donation. Whatever you feel is right and meets your budget. Patreon gives us your gift monthly. You can easily set a limit on how much you donate a month. You can change the amount of your pledge at any time. Your gift will allow us to continue bringing you entertaining and informative videos. Patreon.com/Chloe Sanctuary. We look forward to your participation in Cockatude. You're looking at the bandage. This is not from birds. This bandage is not from birds. This is from a new knife, which was $12 on Amazon, and everybody was saying, "Oh, it's like $120 knife." And I thought, well, if it really is that good, I can buy it. And yeah, I was careful when I was cutting because I've been cooking almost my whole life. But when I went to wipe it, well, oh well. Yeah, I'm supposed to wipe it a certain way, and could have sliced the end of my finger off, but I got lucky. Bob, get off the floor. Come here. No, don't you dance away from me. What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Why does my parrot shun women or dislike men? Well, first of all, it's not a question of like or dislike. They react to what they've seen before. You know, they model their behaviors. Their behavior is based on situations that have occurred before. So if they've been around a certain type of person with a certain type, they dress a certain way and have a certain tone of voice, a higher pitch or a lower pitch, and one of those people somehow created a fear response in the bird, or did something that made the bird think they were liars. A good example is somebody who throws a hand of treat to a bird, has it out like this, and the bird reaches over for it and they pull back. Or if they say, "Oh, here you go, here's a treat. Oh, wait a minute," and they start doing this kind of thing. Now you're breaking the trust of the bird. Salamander, you big silly. Next thing I know, you'll be eating the wires dangling down there. Yeah, I know you. I've got lights over there, you silly bird. Yes, you've got a beautiful call. I love that. I love it when you sing like that. Now you can come over here if you want. You can come see me if you want. Yeah, you can. So that kind of behavior can be changed. It's not that they like or dislike men or women. You can break them out of that, and the best way to do that is to have if let's say that they only like men, you have women be the only ones who actually give their favorite treats to them. That will help to break them out of it. Sometimes it takes a little more. You have to get them actually into a training routine where they get a certain treat for a certain behavior, say step up, and then you get somebody who's the sex that they don't want to be around. You get them to give them treats and eventually get them to step up using the same technique you're using. Same hand, same motions and everything. That'll do it. But they just learn to have a preference for one or the other based on what those individuals are doing. No, stay out of there. Seesaw. Cecil bird. Seesaw. I don't want you getting into the... There you go, good boy. I know, Snowball. I know. Why does my parrot refuse to eat the better food I'm providing? I'm giving them pellets, they won't eat them. I'm giving them fruits and vegetables, they won't eat them. Well, you know, about 95% of what these guys learn, they learn in that juvenile dependency period they have. Most of it isn't inborn. There are some inborn innate behaviors. But breeders, they're trying to make money, so they don't often feed them the best foods. And they learn to eat seed, they learn to eat cheaper junk food, or they've been with someone who was feeding them chips and that kind of thing. You break out a bag of chips, and there's two birds in this room, Sugar and Salamander. Their eyes are right open. They just hear the crinkling of cellophane, and they're like, "What's he got?" Well, that's because of who they were around and what they were fed around those people. So it's a learned thing, and you just have to have that long view, that long attitude, like a long-distance runner. I'm going to be running this marathon, and it may last a year, but I'm just going to keep providing the food they should eat. And one way is to, most of the books will say you can do this in 10 days, but I don't think that's a good idea. Give yourself a month or two, set a date. Well, let's see, it's February 17th. Let's do May 17th. And May 17th, that bird's going to be eating pellets. And then what you do is just slowly reduce the amount of the things that they normally eat and increase the number of pellets and vegetables and that kind of thing. Slowly make those changes and then use a scale. One person who's pretty sharp was saying that they're changing their diet on their bird and the bird has lost some weight. So what they did is they had dropped it from 20 grams of the food that they shouldn't be eating down to 10 grams, and now the bird's losing weight. So they went to the 15 mark and added some back in, and then the weight started coming back up. So just, it's going to be a long haul. It's like if you were adopting a child that was 12 years old and you couldn't get them to eat and you found they'd spent their whole life eating nothing but Snickers bars, well, you'd understand. It's going to be a while before you sit them down to a plate of good vegan food. Did I say vegan? Yeah, I don't eat meat. No dairy. And I miss the dairy. I'll tell you, I miss it. But I just can't do it. Just can't do it. Not good for me anyway, so I can't do it. So it's persistence. And the two best pellets out there, one is Rowdy Bush. That's the less expensive. The one that's about 5 times more expensive is probably the best, but is Harrison's. Those are the two I would stick with. I have a couple of birds here that have been eating something else. So what I do is I'm like with her. She's been eating Nutriberries and Harrison's though. So she's getting the Nutriberries, although I found a better one. She was on Cockatiel Nutriberries. So I've got her on Parrot Nutriberries, and they're the pepper ones. These guys like Parrot. These guys like peppers, and parrots in the wild are known to eat a lot of peppers, and they seem to be able to digest them quite well. So, right, Pippa Longstockings? So, just slowly work through it. It's like if you learned to, if you developed a habit, like with gaining weight and losing weight, you develop a habit over 5 years, and you think you're going to change it in a month. Well, maybe a few people can, but the majority of people, it's going to take them like 2.5 years to make those changes. So it's a lot easier if you know you've got a long road to go. It's a lot easier on your spirit. So don't wear yourself down on that. Just go for the long haul and work your way there. Why is it my bird appears to be asleep, but opens its eyes and it appears to be totally awake? Well, there's 2 reasons for that. There's one thing. In the neocortex of the brain, there's a thing called a spindle, okay? Sleep spindle. Now, a sleep spindle is responsible for that, putting you into a deep sleep, okay? These guys don't have, they don't have them. And the other thing is, they have a unilateral consciousness, which basically means they can shut down one side of their brain while the other is wide awake. So the right hemisphere can be running and while the left is asleep, and vice versa. So that means that, they're asleep, half of them, the other half is wide awake. So hard for a predator to come up on one of these guys. What are you doing? Hey, Snowball. Snow. What are you doing? What are you doing? You've got some feathers over there. What are you doing? You're not pulling any feathers on yourself or anybody else, are you? Snowball, good boy. What are you doing? What you doing? Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. I love you, Snowball. I love you, Snowball. Snowball, Snowball, Snowball. Just looking at me. Okay. Yeah. So the lack of sleep spindles in the brain and the unilateral nature of the brain, where they can shut one side of it down, means that, they're awake while they're sleeping. That's kind of cool. Why does my bird clean its legs with its beak? Stretch. You've seen that stretch where they stretch one wing out and the leg at the same time. They fan their tail and then they stretch the other leg out and they stretch the other. If you'd let go, I could do this. Stretching, she won't let go. So imagine me stretching my right arm out, okay? Why do they do that? And then, of course, the preening that they do. That's all part of grooming behavior, and they do a lot of grooming behavior. You know, where you see people combing their hair, which my hair needs to be cut, so combing it doesn't do much good. I've got that curly hair that, depending on the humidity, it can just kind of go whang all over the place, and so I need to keep it short. Needs to be a bit shorter, doesn't it? But you could yank some hair out. You could. You could do that. No, that's more Maya's kind of thing. An African Grey, I know, likes to do that. Just yank out a hair to get your attention, right? Right, little girl? Yes. All right, little girl? Hi, Peach. Hey, Peach, you're just sitting over there. Oh, would you like some toys? If you aren't going to come over, I can give you some wood. I love you. Now, one thing about the grooming is that you can get some negative behaviors, some misbehaviors you don't want, obviously, if they're misbehaviors. When you're grooming a parrot, now I have to groom Peaches below the neck because she has fused vertebrae in her neck and can't groom herself. But when you do that, you can develop mate territoriality on the birds. You can cause the bird to develop mate territoriality and become bonded to you as if you were another bird. Yeah, see, I'm preening her the way you shouldn't. I have to. She can't preen herself. And if they don't get preened, and you're talking about impacted feather follicles, and we've already spent thousands of dollars on those. So we try to, it's unhealthy and we don't want her to get hurt. But allopreening, if you can get two birds to preen each other, preferably like Cecil and Snowball, they're two males that preen each other. Cecil preens Bob, Bob preens Cecil. That's the best case scenario where you've got birds doing it. Preferably different species. Same sex, different species. Then you don't get... we just running back and forth here? Hi. Hi, girl. You're just sitting there. You're not doing it. Still careful. She reacts. You're not doing it. But she'll react if you get too close. Sweetie. You're going to get yourself in trouble. You can't get too close to her. She doesn't like it. She doesn't like it. You're going to find out. See? You found out. I told you. I warned you. Of course, I don't speak your language, but I tried to tell you. I did. I tried to tell you. Why does my bird like cardboard boxes? Well, a box is very much like a hole in a tree. And these birds all make their nests in a hole in a tree. That's true of almost every parrot. They make their nests in a hole of a tree. So if they find something that you can chew up that looks like a hole, or it's roughly like a hole in a tree, then it becomes something that they chew. So they will chew cardboard boxes for that reason. Now there can be problems with that. I let them chew depending on their behavior, but if they start to show mating behavior, that feels good. Thank you. Thank you, Pippa. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Pippa. That felt good. That felt good, Pippa. Thank you. That's a good girl. Thank you for being my fan. So a lot of books will tell you don't let them play with boxes, but it's okay. And as long as you're paying attention and you notice the bird starts to do this and it's kicking, they'll kick too. And they'll take their feet and go choo, 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 tear up the box that way too. That's all preparing a nest. It's nesting behavior. That's fine as long as they don't start, like with the males, knocking on wood, fanning the tail, vibrating. Then it's probably time to take the box away for a while. But it's okay to let them have them on occasion, especially if they seem to need the comfort behavior. And grooming, again, on the grooming, it's a comfort behavior. So if you overdo it, if you over groom a bird, if you're petting it too much, that's the number one way humans overdo. That's the number one way that humans overdo the comfort behavior. Then you can start to get those negative behaviors like mate territoriality. And the problem is, once you get mated, they mate for life, so you don't want to. But yeah, it's okay to give them boxes as long as you're going to be observant. If you're going to walk around oblivious, like my favorite movie, The Shadowlands, and it was like Deborah Winger was talking to me when she said, "What do? Walk around with your eyes closed?" And sometimes we all do that, but I know I have been guilty of that more than most, I think, in my early life. So, why did my baby bird suddenly become frightened and fearful? You can play with it. They can play with that. That's okay, but you can't mess with the cameras or anything. Okay, Snowball? Good boy. You can grab that. Go ahead. Go on, Snowball. Good boy. Go on. It's okay. Snowball. Snowball. Good boy. Good boy. There you go. Now you got it. Now you got your Frisbee. Well, the reason, and it's in the Manual of Parrot Behavior, you can find most of this kind of information in the Manual of Parrot Behavior, and I'm going to put in the show notes, I'm going to put the pages, because I went to take the extra time to look up the references so you could see what I was talking about, and it goes into more depth than what I'm saying. Let's not eat the door, please. Come on. You're not going out the door. You're not going to chew your way through the door and go out. Come here. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, you poor little thing. Ah, you poor thing, you poor thing. You poor thing, you poor thing, you. I love you. You're a good girl. That's you are. Good boy. Yes, you're a good boy too, Bob. Hi, Cecil. Hi, Cecil. See, this is good allopreening here. This is Bob, a Triton with an umbrella, both males. That's the kind of allopreening I want around me. You betcha. So the reason they become fearful, the tapping sound, is Snowball playing with his Frisbee. So forgive me for that. I'm not going to try to fix it. He likes playing with his Frisbees. There he goes. But the reason, and you'll find that in the Manual of Parrot Behavior, but because they were raised by humans instead of by their own parents, they've missed steps in their development. And so initially, for the first year usually, maybe a little longer, they seem to be completely fearless, but then the fear starts to creep in, and it doesn't take much to get it going. And again, when that happens, don't take it on yourself. Don't say, "What did I do to cause the problem?" The problem was always there, just waiting to surface, and it gets, as time goes on, it gets easier and easier for that to come about. So the fearful behavior, I saw it in Lorelei with that hawk that came, and I didn't see it, and I tried to put her back in her cage. 6 months later, she sticks to me like a magnet, but she didn't even want anything to do with me for 6 months. And she associated me with the hawk. So, and that was when she was, 4.5 years old? So that fearful, and she's been fearful of people since she was about a year old. Yeah. She didn't seem to be afraid at all until she was it was right at about a year, she started exhibiting fear towards other people. She still doesn't trust people that she just meets. Takes a while. Once she gets to know you, she'll gladly steal your earpiece, cut the buttons off your clothing, and break your zippers. She's very good at those things. She probably should start a business. But the reason that fear comes out is because they missed steps in their development. And there's no way to fix that. All you can do is work with the problem as it stands. Sometimes, as the manual of parrot behavior says, if the fearful nature gets really bad, in other words, you can't get them out of the cage, and whenever you get near them, they're afraid, you probably need to get them on some kind of psychiatric medication. And I know a lot of people don't want to do that, and there's a big stigma about it, but think of the human brain like a broken leg. Because at that point, it's very much like that. There's chemicals in the brain that are causing anxiety, and if you don't reduce them, then it's like leaving somebody with a broken leg. And they're suffering the whole time. And they're suffering because we don't understand that psychiatric drugs have a place. And that's for when there is something broken in the brain. Okay. Why does my bird sometimes just walk away from me, almost as if it's disgusted? Or nip at me? Or yell at me? There are a lot of behaviors they do that don't seem to make sense. And all of a sudden they're making these strange behaviors. Yelling or nipping or running away or pacing back and forth looking at you. Why do they do that? The number one reason is our inability to be able to read what they're trying to tell us. And they have a complicated communication system. They use body language and vocalization at the same time. So the motions their bodies are making, the ways their feathers are displayed, they may be looking at you and just raising a few feathers on the back of the neck. That's a good sign, by the way. If you're approaching a bird you've never seen before, never met, and you get up close to them and the feathers on the back of their neck come up, nothing else, just the feathers on the back of the neck, back off for a while until those feathers go down. Because that's generally a response that indicates there's some kind of danger around. We don't know what they're thinking, we can't read their minds, but we know that when those feathers right here, just these feathers, not this crown, but the feathers right back here, just right there, they come up, that generally means that there's a threat in the environment. And they will deal with the threat, since they can't fly away in most cases, they will deal with the threat in whatever way is necessary. If that means lunging or biting, they'll do it. Although that's not their way in the wild. They don't normally do that in the wild. They just fly away. They don't need to do that. I have a wing in my face. What are you doing? So it's a complicated orchestration of feathers and behaviors. I can look at Bob and see he's interested. He wants to find it. He wants to come up here. I can see he wanted to come up. He's looking at her, and his feathers are smooth against his body. His eyes are not oval. They are round. So he's interested in a positive way. And he's trying to decide, right now it's like deciding how he's going to approach this situation. Yeah, you can come over here and try to preen her. You got her, she can't see you, so you can probably preen just fine. So she realizes you're doing it. So we don't know, but it looked like he saw an opportunity. Her head's buried on my shoulder. The back's there. He's preening. Did he plan that? I don't know. We've seen things in the lab where they plan. So in the Goffin lab where they left a bird in a training cage, and they didn't leave the little stick so it could dig the treat off the ledge above the cage. The bird made its own stick and then did it. And then they tried a bunch of other things and they made it out of plastic. The birds used cardboard. They used a lot of different things, wood, plastic, cardboard. It made the tool out of everything. So, that's probably what he was doing from right down here, seeing the opportunity, probably. No way to know for sure, but I'd be willing to bet on it. They have a flock language too. Each flock has a language between them, so all the birds know certain body motions mean certain things. And when you get to a flock like this, they have picked up some common ones. Bob, please don't mess with the door. Come on, get away from the door. Come on, Babaloo, please. Come on, get away from the door, you big toad. Come here. Don't mess with the door. Come on, back down here. So I've got different types of communication with every bird in here. There are a few common things that they do. They've picked up some common behaviors, at least the ones that have been here for quite a while, but there's individual communications that we have. Like Salamander right now is basically, he's indicating he wants to mate and he wants to come sit on me. And I'm looking at him indicating, no, we're not going to do that, by looking at him and then looking away and then looking at him and looking away. But he's still being insistent about it. Aren't you, Salamander? A little more aloe preening over here. What are you doing, Sal? You hanging? Oh, you want over, do you? All right, come on. Come on over, you big monster. Hello, big boy. How you doing? Oh. What I'll generally do is he doesn't think much of being preened on the head. He doesn't really care for it. But if he comes over with that attitude like it's going to be a mating event, then I will start working on his head. And that helps to diffuse the situation, usually. I'm not guaranteeing it. Nope. Not guaranteeing it. No, we're not doing that. Wrong species. Hi, Snowball. Wrong species, big boy. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. You can sit on my arm. That's fine. No, we're not doing that. Why does my bird develop bad behaviors? They seem to just come out of nowhere. They're usually not out of nowhere. I'll give you a couple examples. Now, he's trying to mate with me, but he'll also try to take things like this, scabs off you. And he got that one too, so it's bleeding a little bit. They'll take spots off your body. That's just normal preening behavior. I'll give you an example. We have a bird here named Snowball. He's down. Where are you, Snowball? Well, there you are. Hi, Cecil. Hey, baby. Hey, big boy. But he was with some people and with a lady, and the lady's son decided, well, it's really cute. He comes up and he licks the spots on my body. And then the licking became nipping, and the nipping became biting. So what seems cute initially, like if with this one here, she likes to come up and play with your ear. Most people would be like, she's not biting. No, we're not doing that, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I moved my arm too fast. I didn't mean to drop you. I didn't. But they'll think, oh, that's cute. She's just, running her tongue along your ear. No, it's not cute, because if you do that, the behavior will go from that to pulling on the ear to eventually biting or nibbling on it and then biting. So stop it when it starts. When you can see that they're going after some part of your skin and they're playing, it's going to develop into something else in most cases. So catch it early on. Be looking for things like that. And on the other side, if you see something that looks like a positive behavior, let's say that if the bird comes over and sits next to you and plays with toys, that's a positive behavior. So you don't want to break that. So if they came over and sat down next to you to play and you were about ready to get up to do something, if there's any way you can just stay there for another 5 minutes, that's the thing to do. Because you want to reward that positive behavior. And maybe you don't want to pet him in that case, but you can say, good boy, Cecil. Hi, Cecil. What you doing? See, that's that look he gets when the cameras are out. Hi, Cecil. You've been doing so well. Now you got the old chompy look. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have to do your song. You want to do your song? Come on, let's do your song. Come on, it's all right. Let's do your song. Is Cecil the cockatoo? Hello. Is Cecil the cockatoo? Hello. He's strong to the spinach 'cause he eats his spinach. He's Cecil the cockatoo. Cecil bird. Cecil. Well, there's a bird for you. There's a bird. There's a bird. That's Cecil bird. Any pirate would be happy to have you with him. That's right, any pirate. What do you say? Say hello? You want to say hello on camera? Now that you say hello? He says Cecil, hi, and hello. Don't you? Don't you? You do. You say Cecil. You say hello. Hello. That's okay, that's my fan. So nip those behaviors in the bud, look for them starting, and at the same point, look for the good behaviors, the things you'd like to see more of, like playing with toys next to you. You know, they say with a parrot, you teach it to come step up, and a cockatoo, you teach them to go play. Because they just want to step up all the time. Bob, don't pull the hairs on my arm, please. Why did my parrot's behavior suddenly change? You know, you've probably been in situations where you haven't seen anything happen. But now your bird is acting completely different. Doesn't have to be negative. Doesn't have to be something that you don't like, but maybe they've been kind of quiet. And now all of a sudden they're boisterous and bouncing around and you don't know why. It's kind of like, this is my analogy for this. Let's say that you're in a plane, okay, with your best buddy. Your best buddy just came in, just won the lottery, and he's got a brand new Learjet. He's learned to fly it, and he wants to fly with you to New York. He's like, come on, let's fly to New York. So you go off with him, that's fine. You're flying along, and you're sitting there in the co-pilot seat, and you're flying along, and he takes off. Come here, sweetheart. No, you're not going to eat the door. Come here. Come here. Come here. No, 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 no. Come on, let go. No, let go. Ah. Boy, she gets a grip. Boy, when she... Ugh. This girl gets a grip, don't you? So anyway, you're in this Learjet. You're flying to New York. You're about 15 minutes from landing, okay? You're coming in. And he says, well, before we touch down... How'd that go, Bob? You okay? Hold on. There you go. It all came out. Okay. You're about 15 minutes from touchdown. And he says, before I land, I gotta go to, I can. So he takes off to go to the bathroom. And 5 minutes go by, and you're like, oh, you're not there. And then 10 minutes, and autopilot's got you going. So you go back there, and you find he's passed out on the floor, and you can't wake him up. It's like, oh no. And, he had already told you that you only had so much fuel, and, you had enough fuel to maybe, an extra hour in there, but, oh, what am I going to do? Well, you don't know how to fly the plane. You've been going along on autopilot, and now all of a sudden you're in a stress situation. It's just like that with birds, okay? If you haven't learned some reward training, some best to learn applied behavior analysis, learn some of the basics, the way you work with behaviors and how to analyze them and that kind of thing. If you haven't done that, you're dealing with a complex creature that's not like us. These are avians. Okay, their red blood cells have a nucleus. We don't have that in our red blood cells. And they don't even have an X and Y chromosomes. These guys are really different. And they're different not just in their bodies, but in their behavior. So if you're just flying on cruise control and something goes wrong, it's really tough to land the plane. But once you learn how to fly a plane and how to land a plane, then it's not so tough. And it's the same with learning the stuff. And you can learn most of the stuff in a month. You're not going to become an expert, but you can learn enough to get by in a month, okay? And if you practice with it, it's fun to do once you learn it. So, and you're like, wow, this works. And, oh, wow, I can use this on my wife. Or, oh, wow, I can use this on my boyfriend. Or, hey, get out of there. Get back over on there. Go on. Get back. Salamander, go on. Get back. You're not listening to me. Come here. Get off the chair. Can't move that chair. Get up there. Go on. I gotta sit back down. Please don't get underneath me. Okay. No. You're not going over there. No. No. I mean it. No. Come here. Come on. This is the other way. Come here. You're over here. You're over here now. Okay, why is it that my bird, who was trimmed, they clipped the wings until I got him, why doesn't he fly? Yeah, he's got wings now, why won't he fly? Well, it's kind of like you have arms and legs. Ow! Sharp nail there, kid. You have arms and legs, but if you've never driven a car, you would have trouble getting in a car and just driving away. They have the ability to make the motions to fly, and better than with driving a car. It's like somebody who's never run before. They can run. They may be loping at it, but they can do it. They have the ability, and scared, if they're frightened, they'll do it without even realizing what they're doing. But it's not. But the activity of flying, it's kind of like it's like playing pool. It's not that hard to pick up a stick and hit the ball, but it's like anything else that you have the ability to do. Unless you've really cultivated it, you don't think about doing it. Okay, so a person who's learned how to let's say play pool, they walk into a pool room, they kind of walk right over and grab a stick and start chalk it and get ready to play a game of billiards, right? But with these guys, they have the ability to fly, but they just don't think about it. They've been used to walking from place to place, and they haven't had wings that they could use. So it's really just it's a learned behavior, but it's an innate ability. Okay, the ability to fly is there, except when you have someone like him with his twisted pelvis, or Peaches with her fused vertebrae. It's an innate ability, but it's a learned behavior. So you can teach them, but if they haven't flown when they were young, if they weren't flighted right off the bat when they got fledged, then it's always going to be a little bit of a hesitation when they're doing it just for pleasure. Why is it that my bird cries when I'm not around? I need to look at my watch once in a while here, kid. Oh, well, how much time we got left? Oh, okay. Why is it my bird cries when I'm not around? Well, contrary to popular opinion, behaviors we don't like or misbehaviors are not necessarily always because we've done something bad to them or something that was done to them when they were growing up. Sometimes it's because we've over-groomed them, we've petted them too much, we've given them too much attention, and if you give them a lot of attention and then you withdraw it, this happens a lot when people get a bird for the first time. They give it a whole bunch of family attention for the first month or two, and then it sort of fades after a while, and they take the bird out less and less and less, and finally, then the bird's just sitting in the cage waiting for someone to come over, and then they're screaming. So it can be that you gave them a lot of attention and you withdrew it, or let's say that you're good. You've been giving them 2 hours of attention for a whole year, and it's just fine, and then you take a vacation. You're gone for a week or 2 weeks. And you watch it, Bob, be careful. And you come back, and after a while, the bird starts crying. Well, again, it may be from too much attention. So, as I said, contrary to popular opinion, sometimes your bird will do something like scream because you gave them too much attention. And you withdrew it. Or you just gave them too much attention. Sometimes that extra attention translates to mating behavior, so the bird becomes mated to you, and then they don't want to be out of your sight, which is typical. Mated birds tend to stay around each other all the time, with few exceptions, but it does, the male's going out to get food, and the female's in the nest, and then the female's out getting food, and the male's in the nest. There are times of separation, but, they're working together the whole time, so why is it my bird is frightened all the time? I have a bird that seems to just shy away from everyone. I put my hand up and the bird backs off. Why is that? Well, sometimes it's the pathological condition. They've been in situations before where hands were scary. Well, look at it this way. A bird's foot, okay? This is how a bird opens and closes its foot. That's how they do it. Okay? They can't do this. They have one muscle that pulls Opens and closes it. It's kind of like the when they open and close the curtains at the theater. You know, they pull one rope and it opens and closes that's the way it works. So this can be scary to birds. Maybe they were around other people that frightened them with their hands. Sometimes you can deal with it by using other body parts, putting this part of your body up for them to step on, or getting a perch up there. They can step on the perch, a long perch, and then you can eventually shorten the distance so they can get to your hand and take a treat that they like and get them to step up eventually. Treat here, until, it may take a week or two, but you actually get it over here. Sometimes it only takes minutes. But if you have a bird that's chronically afraid of everything, I know this isn't a popular thing. I'm going to say it again as I did earlier. Maybe a little bit of alprazolam, which is Xanax or Paxil or some other psychotherapeutic drug, even Haldol, will help them through that. Maybe they'll only need it for a short time to overcome that problem. But that's something to consider. You don't want to go through your whole life afraid of everything, and they don't want to go through their lives like that either. So, now you little one, I think you said, oh, I know what, you haven't been out here in a while. Come here. You haven't been out here for the videos in a while, and you did so well. You were so good. Yes, it was such a good bird. That was such a good bird. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yeah. Yeah, this was maybe a year ago, somebody made a rude comment by the way I talk when I'm talking to these birds, and he's Cecil the bird! Cecil. He's Cecil the cockatoo. Hello. He's Cecil the cockatoo. Hello. Strung to the finish 'cause he eats his spinach. He's Cecil the cockatoo. And goodbye. We'll see you next time. We welcome your feedback on our videos. We look forward to your insights, tips, questions, stories, and pictures. You can email us at cockatude@chloesanctuary.org, reach us on Twitter @ChloeSanctuary, and join with us on our Facebook Chloe Sanctuary page.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.